Well, all right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into trying to make sense of this insane world. Trump is now sending out $1,700 Christmas checks to all service members. Also, Trump fact checks presidential portraits in the White House with a fact check box underneath their pictures. We're also going to talk about Trump's claims on Maduro's oil. Now the truth comes out, it is all about the oil, and Trump makes a case about some kind of oil that he says that Maduro stole from us from his own country. We'll talk a little bit about that today. At the end of the show, we're going to get into this new theory on a disintegrating bullet. Yes, they're now saying the bullet was a disintegrating bullet, which they call a frangible bullet. We're going to debunk that at the end of the show today. We're also going to get into the Space Force logo, the new Space Force logos, plural, that to me look like playing cards or tarot cards or something. We're going to break those down today because they are very occult and weird and about as far as you can get from anything Christian. We're also going to get into the Romanian Dracula theme park called Dracula Land. It's a $1 billion theme park. And finally, gosh, I can't believe I'm going to try to pack this all in one show today. This might be a longer show. We will also be looking into the new Disclosure Day movie trailer, that will be during the show today as well. Let's start with these Space Force tarot cards. This is crazy. Now, this is going to be a marathon today. I'll try to get through this quick, and I won't talk so slow, but look at this. Let's read. Ghosts, sharks, and Norse mythology. U.S. Space Force unveils new names for satellites and space weapons. Now, to me, this is all shaping up to be some kind of Armageddon type defense. When you look at the different blue-blooded creatures, we've got this octopus here, or you could call it a squid or an octopus. You've got electromagnetic warfare with the serpents, cyber warfare with the octopus, navigational warfare with sharks. We've got, let's just cover all of them. Orbital warfare, Norse pantheon, which that's supposed to be an angel. You guys, what is going on here? We've got satellite communications, constellations, missile warning, sentinels, and space domain awareness, which looks like some kind of phantom or a ghost. There are 7 weapons systems, and the one that stood out to me was the rainbow serpent. They don't even call it a snake. They just go straight to the serpent. These are all demonic creatures. If you were going to make something that was holy, wouldn't you use like a sheep? Or wouldn't you use like a mule or something that represented something close to Christ? A biblical animal that was shown to be more in line with something biblical and holy, instead of all these dark animals and figures. Wow. Now let's read this. 7 weapons systems. The U.S. Space Force is turning to some unlikely sources of inspiration for naming its spacecraft and space weaponry at the 3rd Annual Superpower Space Power Conference held in Orlando, Florida, from December 10th to the 12th. Chief of Space Operations told attendees the Space Force is adopting new naming schemes for each of its different mission areas that will cement the identities of space weapon systems, much like the names of iconic aircraft. Now, of course, they're setting this whole thing up, and this disclosure decode trailer that we're going to do a little bit later in the show kind of falls in line with this, because they're setting this whole thing up to basically say that we are about to be invaded by aliens, right? So you would need a space force for that. Well, I think that the opposite is true. I think that they are preparing for Armageddon, the great battle of the return of our coming Lord and Savior, is what I believe they're really preparing for. Let's keep reading. But while symbols for some of the Space Force's mission areas will be similarly borrowed from real-life animals, others are more mythological in nature. Salzman said they include Norse pantheon, representing the power and dominance of orbital warfare, mythological creatures, conjuring the cunning and adaptability of cyber warfare systems, constellations reflecting the reach and enduring connection of the satellite communications, and ghosts evoking the silent presence of space domain awareness, to name just a few. So here they are, you guys. So I guess we're going to have to figure out what all this is about as in the coming weeks and days. What does this say? The first, a communication satellite in geostationary orbit, previously known as the Ultra High Frequency Follow-on System, will now be known as Ursa Major. The Big Dipper, as all of you know, part of the Ursa Major constellation, famously points to Polaris, our North Star. Wow. Bizarre. So here, detailed images of all this. Look like playing cards or tarot cards to me. Now, what else is going on? Well, Bucharest, Romania is planning a $1 billion Dracula-themed park. And this is unbelievable. Dracula Land. We're going to look at pictures of this. I've also got the website pulled up. They even have a place for toddlers in this theme park. Wow. Now understand that this released very close to the eve of Saturnalia, which is the festival of Saturnalia. It's essentially a festival celebrating the false god Sol Invictus, Dionysus, and Apollo, whose birthday is within days of this. But all of the festivals are celebrated in the middle of the month, like the 14th, 15th, 16th. In this case, Saturnalia falls on the 17th. But I believe that this is what they were getting at by announcing this. Look at this. Dracula Land in Bucharest, Romania, $1 billion, 780,000 square meters. There will be 6 lands and 40 attractions. Remember, the 40 number represents the time of testing. It's the 40 days and nights of the flood. It's the 40 years in the wilderness of the Israelites. It's also the 40 days that Jesus was tested. They're saying this is going to open between 2026 and 2027. They don't know the exact launch date, but there's a moonlit district, which is the grand entrance, whole range of attractions. There's a Transylvanian Railway, a double carousel, projection and drone show, and Hollywood Vampires immersive exhibition. There's a family kingdom, 4D cinema ride, and toddler play area. I would not ever let your toddler play in an area like this. So here is the proposal. Let's look at some of these pictures, and then we'll go to the website. Unbelievable. A Dracula-themed park. This almost looks like the head of a serpent smashed down, like a snake, or maybe a hydra. Got the walkways coming out from it. Here's some more. This looks like a haunted mansion almost. Now, let's go to the website because there's more to see here. Now, I couldn't believe this. It's always good to read between the lines. Here's the website, Dracula Land. They've got the castle up here in the corner, right? Built on like this rock. The new icon of global entertainment, where cultural heritage, technology, and destination design converge to create Europe's next world-class experiential brand. Whoa, beyond a location, beyond a story. It's a hybrid ecosystem. So there's another clue. Mixing the blue bloods with humans. hybridization, a physical destination, a digital universe, and a scalable intellectual property. So this is the digital twinning. This is what it's about. A digital universe. The destination, a multi-sensory experience rooted in authentic Romanian mythology. So they're obviously, they have a VR headset. But look, it's got like a cage on top of its head. This is about, look at this, you guys. This is insane. The metaverse. Continuous engagement beyond the physical world. So here, let's play this. What is that? That's creepy. Let's go through some more of these images here. Is there any sound? It's just like kind of like a 3D. Okay, let's play this one. Now this is all proposed. None of this is built yet. 2, 4, 6, 8 circles or whatever those are surrounding this object in the middle. The Dracula Land theme park. Let's play these. Oh, some kind of a arena with some kind of carousel on top. Like a theater. Whoa. Lasers everywhere. Look at this. Notice all the purple. Red and blue make purple. Let's see what this one is. Wow. So it's like immersive. There are going to be headsets and all this. A lot of people on computers. I wonder what that's about. Oh, it's an arena battle. So basically gaming, a lot of gaming in this place. Let's go to the next one here. It's going to be a virtual reality. Who are these guys? Okay, let's go to the next one here. Training room. I think that says. There's some Star Wars figurines in the background there. Stormtroopers. Huh. I'm just going to play through all these. There's a few more left. Wow. They usually save the best for last. Pep and Pepper. Look at all these people. Oh, this must be where they eat. KFC, Pizza Hut. Oh, they had to put the pizza in there, right? This is like the food court. And what it looks like. Gosh, they have this whole thing planned out. Now, I think they're looking for investors, I think is what this website is about. This looks like a mall, some kind of shopping mall. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. What does this say? It's just all like AI generated 3D imagery of the proposal. All right, let's go to the next one. Dracula Land, if you're just tuning in. $1 billion or 1 billion euro proposal. Oh, a lot of robotics. Whoa. That looks like more VR. Car dealership? What? Space constellations. This looks like a space theme. Oh, this would be sustainable energy, right? Windmills. Indoor growing of food, that kind of thing. Maybe electric vehicles. Okay, next. I think that's the, wait, here's the last one here. Bucharest, Romania. Here's the 30,000 foot view. More like 10,000 foot view. Huh. Now, let's see what else is going on. It says, why now? Dracula Land is hybrid ecosystem. So there you go. Physical destination, digital universe, digital twinning. Right? And a scalable intellectual property. 32% year-over-year growth. Global recognition, brand recognition. The Dracula myth is one of the world's most recognized cultural symbols, yet commercially undeveloped. So they're trying to develop evil, essentially. 3 revenue engines, 1 vision. There's park operations, brand and IP, licensing and collaboration, media extensions, and digital platform. Memberships, gamified experience, virtual assets. So I'll put a link to this article, and they're essentially trying to sell this Dracula Land universe. Wow. Now, here's in some weird twist of fate. The Simpsons actually predicted Dracula Land. This was in, I believe this is a video game. It says, this is The Simpsons Tapped Out. And I believe this is some kind of a video game. And it says, Dracula Land is a limited time building that was released on October 3rd. Now, October 3rd is the eve of the day of the year that has 88 days left in the year. So there you go. October 4th has 88 days left in the year. And it says, as part of Act 1 of the Tree House of Horror, let's see, that's 29 event. It was a third prize to be won in the event's Act 1. So here is Dracula Land in The Simpsons from 2018 with 88 days left in the year. Wow. Bizarre. So let's get in. Let me check in with you guys and we'll get into this new Disclosure movie. It's called Disclosure Day. Many of you tuned in for that. Let's get into that. I've got the trailer pulled up right here. We're going to go through it little by little and begin to break this down. Let's make this bigger for you guys.
If you found out we weren't alone.
If you found out we weren't alone. Now, of course, I'll be pausing this intermittently to avoid copyrights. Let's turn on the closed caption. There we go. And look, what do we have here? Just like in Leave the World Behind, the deer are in the window, frozen, staring at the humans. I don't think they recognize people as human anymore. I think that's what this is all about. This is why we've had all these animal attacks that we documented so precisely over the last 5 years. Animals that used to be afraid of humans are now not afraid. And maybe it's because they don't see us as human anymore. Because of what some people have put into their bodies. Injected in their bodies. And we saw these animals, these deer first in Leave the World Behind, and now we're seeing it again in this trailer. Wow.
If someone showed you, proved it to you.
And there we have another clue. She has the cross in her left hand. Yeah, that is the left hand. And it's poking into almost as if she's being crucified in the hand. And we have confirmation of this a little bit later in the scene.
Proved it to you.
With the cube next to her bed. We all know, Truth 101, a cross, a cube is a folded up cross. A cross is an unfolded cube. Let's look it up. Okay, cross is a cube. For those that are new, this is one thing we did when we were children. One of the first lessons that we had of how to make a box. You simply cut out a cross and you fold it up and it turns into a cube. And this gives us a clue as to what Jesus really did if he was crucified on a cross. He opened the curse. He disabled the curse, which is the cube, didn't he? He disabled the curse. The cube is the curse. And the cross in his sacrifice undoes it. Let's keep watching here. Now, this cardinal, I think that's a cardinal, shows up. The red cardinal. I don't know what that particularly means, but I wanted to note it. Let's keep watching here.
Would that frighten you? Good morning.
Now, this opens with this actress here. Let's back this up a little bit because there's something on the teleprompter. It says rapid drop in temperatures. Oh, I thought that was of note. And then she's supposed to be reading this, but what happens? She's taken over. Her mind's taken over by some kind of alien. This is the same theme we saw in the TV series Pluribus, where signal comes from outer space and causes all of humanity to be taken over by this alien. It basically reconstructs everyone's DNA so that they become one mind, like a hive mind.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today.
So she's taken over by this alien force, and in the background you see Kansas City and the weather, this storm front coming through, about to cross over Wichita. Now, what I believe they're saying here, anytime you see a storm front like this and you see Wichita and Kansas City, this is like Tornado Alley. So what if this is like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, right? Tornado Alley, the portal of tornadoes. That's a bit of a stretch, I'll admit, but maybe that's where they're getting at here.
Let's today is today's.
So she starts freaking out. She can't speak because something's taken over her voice. So it's the hive mind. Everyone's freaking out. They're looking at their phones going, what the heck is going on? And for some reason, the entire world can see this because it's all being broadcast through the cell phones. Now, of course, this is a new Steven Spielberg film. For those of you that don't know, Steven Spielberg's, I guess, claim to fame would be E.T., the Extraterrestrial. That was one of his first blockbuster movies. I think he did a bunch of what else did he do? He did a lot of movies back in the day. But for the younger people here, you might not know who Steven Spielberg is. Let's keep watching.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
So, of course, it's the same thing. It's just like all the other disaster movies, right? They all have to get together and try to figure out what this is about.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm going to show you.
What are you gonna do?
Now, what else is going on? There's some guy in a chair and he's got like a mouthpiece in, like some kind of mouth guard.
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
The eyes are the window to the soul. Now, I looked that up in the Bible, and I guess it's not there, which is weird. And I had to kind of stop saying that because I don't think that's actually in the Bible. The eye is the window to the soul. The Bible does say that the ancient Israel is the apple of God's eye. So it does say that, and a couple other things about the eyes. But I don't believe it says the eye is the window to the soul. So let's keep watching here. Now, of course, crop circles. Some of the very first things that you'll find on this channel in 2012 when I first started the channel was that we did a bunch of videos on crop circles. And I think one of the hugest discoveries that we made is we had actually predicted a crop circle before it happened and the exact location where it would happen. And that was weird. I don't even know to this day how that happened, but I set a date and I said exactly what kind of crop circle it would be, and it actually literally happened on that date. I believe it was in August is when it happened. But anyway, went off track there. Let's keep watching here.
People keep wondering. Encountering the unknown.
So a bunch of more weird alien stuff, you know. Yeah, of course, this will be probably a blockbuster film. Emily Blunt's in it. She was in Day After Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. That was a huge movie about time travel. So I'm assuming this is going to be a blockbuster.
They're coming! They're coming! They are starved for the truth.
Oh, look, did you catch that? It says before, like before, right? Before. So I'm thinking there might be a time travel aspect to this movie, likely.
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others?
So this is Disclosure Day.
Why
Of course, that was that Michelangelo.
would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us?
So they want us to believe that there's aliens from other planets in a vast universe and that we are not the center of the universe. That's what NASA was pretty much built for, to try to make us feel like we are nothing in the vast universe. Okay? That's what the whole purpose of NASA was. Whereas the Bible says something different, that we are the center of it all, center of God's creation. We also have a possible shard. Look at here. Let's take a look here. Okay, this kind of looks like the shard, whatever that object is, glowing object held in the hand. And this is in Pennywise. Welcome to Derry. There's a shard connection. We'll get into that tomorrow.
Yet save it only for us?
So, Disclosure Day. So we will break all that down when it comes out, of course. Now, what else is going on? Let me check in with you guys. It's a marathon today, isn't it? Some of you like these packed shows. Let's debunk this new theory that Candace Owens has floated to her followers. You know, I was really trying to give this woman every benefit of the doubt. I'm still watching, but it's like she's floating this easily debunkable theory to essentially dismiss the magic bullet. And this has me scratching my head. Now, what is the magic bullet? The magic bullet is the bullet that allegedly, now I'm saying all this facetiously and allegedly, right? Because I have no idea if any of this is real. But it doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. But you notice I'm not spending every waking hour talking about it, but we are going to mention it just because it is top of the podcast sphere right now. Like, everybody's talking about it, so it needs to be addressed. So the magic bullet is the fact that there was no exit wound in Charlie Kirk's neck, and everybody knows that a 30-06 bullet would have passed clean through and would have essentially exploded his entire neck and caused probably his head to fall off. That's the truth. And any hunter will tell you that. Instead, there was no exit wound. So, Candace is saying that she's being attacked by bots. And that may be partially true. We've seen it even on our channel. Just yesterday, or a couple days ago, we got attacked by some kind of crypto bots. And there were literally 60 comments that I had to go in and delete. And they all said the same thing about some kind of crypto coin or something, and they were telling people to buy it and sell it real fast or something like that. So I do know that bots are true, but I think what's really happening on Candace Owens' channel is that most people are simply noticing the change before and after she talked to Erica. She was so voraciously going after the truth before, and it seemed authentic, but after she talked to Erica, it was different. And now we're getting these stories being made up. What we really needed to hear Candace say after she met with Erica is we needed to know Erica's reaction when Candace confronted her with these unexplainable circumstances surrounding the case. And without the context of Erica's reaction, the whole secret meeting was pointless, in my opinion. So, we're going to focus today on Candace's broadcast from yesterday, where she literally debunked herself by now saying that they think the bullet was a disintegrating bullet, which is called a frangible bullet. And they're saying, oh, that's why there was no exit wound. Well, let's take a look. With just 5 minutes of research, frangible bullets still pass through soft tissue, and they don't disintegrate until they hit something hard, a hard surface, like a wall or a tree. And when they hit something hard, they disintegrate. They don't travel down the spine. They don't hit a bone and travel down the spine and then are recovered later. In fact, the sheer force of the disintegration would have likely had, now I'm not a ballistics expert, but you can imagine if a bullet were to explode inside of someone's neck, it would probably blow all the tissue out from around the neck. not what we saw on the video. Now, Candace, in all fairness, she did infer that the bullet would not have traveled down his spine, as they say, right? That's what the officials are saying. She did state that, but she missed the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that the tips of these frangible bullets have color coding on the tips. This would have been the easy answer to all of this. Yes, frangible bullets are all tipped with a color. Okay? They have green, some have here's what all the different variations of what a frangible bullet can look like. They all have a different tip, and that's so that they're easily identifiable. Now, the FBI did not release pictures of the unspent cartridges that they claim had all these words on them. We don't have pictures of them, but it goes without saying, doesn't it? It goes without saying that if the tips had colors like the ones I just showed you, that would have been mentioned by the FBI. Why? To dismiss the theories as to why there was no exit wound. Wouldn't they do that in their defense? Right? But instead we get, hey guys, here are the detailed inscriptions written on the rounds, but we forgot to tell you that the rounds were color-tipped frangible bullets. You see how none of this makes sense? If they're going to give us details about what's written on the bullets, why wouldn't they tell us that the bullets were disintegrating bullets? That's pretty huge, right? So all of this feels like a cover-up after the fact. Unless, of course, the one bullet that he used or allegedly used was different than the rest, and I don't buy that theory either. Right? Now, here's the other bit of critical thinking that helps us get down to the truth about all this. The FBI already admitted that the bullet was recovered from his neck, which means it didn't explode, as frangible bullets do. Right? So, right there, that's debunked. Let's get off the frangible bullet. It was not a frangible bullet unless it was fired from a different weapon and a much smaller caliber. And even then, somebody's lying about the bullet, right? There's too many inconsistencies with all of this. So I wanted to break all that down for you, just in case you fell for the frangible bullet theory. It's simply not the case. Here's the proof that they recovered the bullet, which was supposed to have exploded if it was a frangible bullet, and it didn't. So, wow. Now, gosh, we got through the whole show today. That's pretty cool. Tomorrow, I decided to screen capture the season finale of Welcome to Derry. So I've got that here. And I only did this because, let's go back to the chat here. There were so many biblical metaphors in the season finale that needed to be covered. Now, tomorrow is a show that some of you are going to want to skip because of how evil Pennywise the Clown is. But for those of us spiritual warriors that are still in the battle to save souls, it's a show you don't want to miss, because the final episode is essentially a dark rendition of the Exodus out of Egypt and the wandering in the wilderness of the 12 tribes of Israel as they followed the Ark of the Covenant. It's essentially a copycat, dark side version of it all. They literally cross over a frozen lake, so the parting of the Red Sea, but it's frozen. Pennywise is in a wagon, which is essentially a tabernacle. It's the ark, and then the tabernacle's inside because circuses have tents. There's all kinds of references to it, and we'll break all that down tomorrow. And I'll put links to everything in the pinned comment. Gosh, I can't believe we got through that whole show. And even faster than we normally do. I guess I did kind of rush and I talk faster. It's hard to talk fast sometimes. But anyway, I'm in the chat. Oh my gosh. What else is going on, you guys? Yes, the cube is the prison, and Jesus undid the cube on the cross with his sacrifice, providing a narrow gate for us to have everlasting life and be free from this realm free from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay. Thanks, Ampavu. Thanks, Smile Sunflower. Tourists entering Nicaragua are now no longer allowed to carry Bibles into the country. Oh, one thing we didn't cover. Okay, so Trump just named now Caribbean islands are now not allowed in the U.S. This is unbelievable. Now, I have roots in the Grand Cayman. My great-great-grandfather built churches there. He was a pastor. Never met him. He died before I was born. But wow, really? We're literally sealing off the United States from most countries. Now, I would agree that there are maybe some African nations where you can't verify someone's identity or whatever that we should close the borders to. But this is insane. Like literally the whole world. He's now asking even people from the UK have to provide, their social media histories. So things are getting really weird. Now, I think, let's see, we forgot a couple things. Oh, let's look up these Trump military checks. Okay, here we go. So Trump is now saying, he said last night that he's authorizing bonuses for 1 million service members. 1,776 checks. That's obviously 1776, founding of the country. And he's saying he's doing this in honor of the 250-year anniversary of America. And the reason why this is crazy is because of the timing. I feel like this is a move to essentially bribe the military to continue and stay the course in Venezuela, even though Trump has now come out and said we're essentially stealing their oil. Okay. Now, there is a bit of a gray area, apparently. Chevron had contracts in Venezuela to drill oil. And over the course of time, from the 1970s to the recent history, Venezuela has essentially said, no, we're ending those contracts with the U.S. The U.S. said, okay, you owe us money. There was like a court case. Venezuela made an offer. The United States said, kick rocks. That's not enough. And then their oil leases were canceled. So Trump is saying, oh, okay, you owe us money now. You owe us billions of dollars. And this is why we're going to take your oil. So that's the short and skinny of it, of the story. This is the justification that Trump's using. Essentially, he says that Venezuela's oil belongs to us. Wow. So the tankers are now turning back. They're not going in and out of Venezuela, which will further destabilize the Venezuelan economy. And at some point, they're hoping that Venezuelan people will turn on Maduro and give him up. That's what they're hoping for. So we don't have to have a ground invasion. But things are heating up. Now, we're also on the eve of the release of the Epstein files. The deadline is coming up. It's actually tomorrow. So that could happen. We will cover that if it happens. But all the files are supposed to be released tomorrow. So we will check that out. Now, there's something else going on in the news. Apparently, Trump put these monikers underneath, these plaques underneath the presidential portraits in the White House. Let's look it up. Presidential portraits, White House. He basically fact-checked all the presidents, and he went under the liberal president's pictures, and he put all this stuff like mocking them. Now, a lot of this stuff is true. Okay. Obviously, I'm not a Democrat or a liberal, but a lot of what he said is actually true, like debunking Obama and all this stuff. But to me, it just seems petty. It's like a child would do this. Like, I'm going to graffiti on your picture. That's what's weird about this. Again, everything is probably true. Let's read this. The White House has installed plaques on the exterior of the building, bashing President Donald Trump's predecessors, including President Joe Biden and Barack Obama, and promoting disinformation about their administration. Well, it's not really disinformation. See, I do say good things. I don't say all bad things about Trump, but it just seems petty, doesn't it? The plaques were hung up below presidential portraits that have been on display on Trump's recently added Presidential Walk of Fame. The one placed under the portrait of The auto pen, which stands for President Joe Biden's portrait, refers to him as Sleepy Joe Biden and calls him the worst president in American history. The plaque contains a number of derisive statements about the former president, referring to Biden's severe mental decline, the Biden crime family, and his radical left handlers. Wow. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leave It told NBC News in a statement that Trump wrote the text of many of the plaques. The plaques are eloquently written description of each president and the legacy they left behind. As a student of history, many were written directly by the president himself. You guys were living in the Hunger Games. This is hilarious. It's like a child. Wow. The plaque says that Biden took office in the White House as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in the United States. It accuses Biden of overseeing a series of unprecedented disasters that brought our nation to the brink of destruction, noting the inflation that developed during his presidency. Well, the inflation started with the CARES Act, and everybody knows you can't send out $6.6 trillion in checks, some of which came to us in the form of a stimulus check, and the rest went to corporations and pharmaceutical companies. You can't spend $6.6 trillion and not have it cause inflation. So the inflation really started under Trump, and we all saw it. We saw costs starting to go up in 2021, right after the CARES Act was passed and the first stimulus checks went out, and everything started going up in costs. Rents were going up, costs were going up, gas was going up. We all saw it. But, this is how they keep people in the right-left paradigm. They keep, obviously, Joe Biden caused inflation too, because he sent out his own stimulus checks as part of the CARES Act. I think one round went out under Trump, and then one round went out under Biden. Okay. And so everyone's to blame. They're no different. You can't spend that much money and put all that money into circulation without realizing that it's going to cause inflation. That's how inflation works when you print money. So, they're both to blame. So this is crazy. Now, what is all this about? Why would Trump do this? Well, it's just, he's on his heels right now, right? He's getting criticized for bipartisan. Both Republicans and Democrats are criticizing him on a lot of stuff he's doing. So what better way to get everyone back in line? Well, bring it right back to the right-left paradigm. Create more division. He is the chaos magician. So the people who love Trump are defending the moniker that he put under these pictures. And the people that hate Trump are saying, what are you doing? You're such a weirdo. Why would you even do this? You see the problem here? This is why you've got to step outside of the right-left paradigm. Look at, he's done this under all the pictures. Oh my gosh. This is funny. It's just funny to me. It's not funny, but it's funny, right? That people are so easily triggered by this on both sides. So, let's see, do we cover everything? The portraits, the claims on the oil. Okay. Now I think we're done with the show today. Sorry about that. $6.6 trillion. Wow. Trump is opening the pit, says Sheldon. It's WWE, says Carlos. It's absolutely WWE. Have I decoded Frozen? Yes, I did like 2 or 3 decodes on Frozen. Should be under live shows on this channel. What did he say about Obama? I'll just put a link to it. It's, same thing. The Obama one was actually funny because he talks about, the, what do you call it? Let's pull it up. Might as well. Let's look at Obama. Look at this. Nicknamed both sleepy and crooked, Joe Biden was dominated by his radical left handlers. Fake news media. This is hilarious, you guys. Let's see what he said about Obama. Can't leave Obama out. Come on, where's the plaque? Hello? Obama. And of course, Trump is boosting his accomplishments. He began the construction of the Golden Dome missile defense shield, renamed the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, and is built right here at the White House, a magnificent Trump presidential ballroom after 225-year wait. But the best is yet to come. Let's see what he said about Obama here. Where's Obama? Oh, look. President Bill Clinton's plaque ends with the fact that Trump beat Clinton's wife, Hillary, in the... It's so petty. It's so petty. Obama's office didn't immediately respond for requests for comment. Oh, Obama's plaque also repeats Trump's conspiracy theory that Obama spied on his 2016 presidential campaign and says he presided over the creation of Russia hoax, the worst political scandal in American history. Oh, here, let's see. Is there more here? Oh, Obama's plaque names him as Barack Hussein Obama, the former president, full name, which is often used derisively in right-wing circles, calling him one of the most divisive figures in American history. The plaque details what the Trump administration paints as his failures, including Obama, which it calls the highly ineffective Unaffordable Care Act. He presided over a stagnant economy, approved the terrible Iran nuclear deal, and signed the one-sided Paris Climate Accords, both of which were later terminated by President Donald J. Trump, the plaque says. Wow. Now, a lot of this is true, the Unaffordable Care Act, but what do we have in its place? We still haven't fixed that, have we? I never agreed with national health care to begin with. But yet Trump's like, then Trump did Trump care, which it's the same thing. Yeah, it is weird. We had a president with the name Barack Hussein Obama. That is weird. But that was part of the psyop, wasn't it? And the stagnant economy, yeah, that's true. Iran nuclear deal, yes, that's true. The Paris Climate Accords, yes, that's true. So those are some good things that Trump did, if you want to look at it that way. But I think that they all have these things that they give and take back. It's part of the paradigm. Wow. Now, here's the proof. It was Obama who actually originated the mRNA technology and started giving government money to research it. There's the proof right there. In other words, the infancy of the technology of the COVID vaccine started with President Barack Obama. We did a whole video on that like 3 years ago. And so then Trump just grabbed the football, right? And he became the father of the vaccine. Let's type it in. Let's see here. President Obama mRNA research. President Obama's administration made significant early investment in messenger RNA vaccine research through federal agencies, which proved crucial for the rapid development of COVID-19. See, so they're all working together, you guys. This was a DARPA-funded program, and they're admitting it right here. They're admitting it. When are we going to wake up? You guys are awake, but when is the rest of humanity going to wake up to this stuff? Yeah, because people are saying, "Hey, how did they get the mRNA vaccines done so fast?" Well, a lot of people believe that they were already done. They had already made them. They were sitting in some freezer somewhere. This is why they pretended they had to be stored in freezers. They were already in the freezers. This is probably the whole X-Files thing they were talking about. How they miraculously found this organism in the deep frozen tundra in the Arctic. And when they thawed it out, it caused a mass apocalypse. Well, to me, that almost sounds like the vaccines stored in the Arctic temperatures. They're probably stockpiling them. It just all happened too fast, didn't it? And so they're literally telling us what they did. The black DNA goo. Let's look it up. X-Files, black frozen tundra organism. Oh my gosh. Parasitic alien worm from season 1. Episode is called Ice. There you go. Found in an ice core from an Arctic meteor crater, which causes hosts extreme aggression by affecting the hypothalamus, leading to violent outbreaks and paranoia, with infected individuals sometimes releasing a black oily substance before dying. Sound familiar? Graphene? Okay, back here. Sorry, you guys, I'm ranting today. I think I put one too many, I think I put one too many scoops of instant coffee in the cup this morning. Okay. Okay, we're back. Calm down. Take a deep breath. All right. What else, you guys? How about the I don't know what that says. But yes, we will get the truth. Yeah. I mean, they literally tell us what's happening before it even happens, right? It's just no one's paying attention. So, all right. People found black and white substance here after fogs and snow. Yes. I mean, we might as well have some fun with it, right? Thanks, Nikki. FCC and G Technology Fast Track was also Trump's. Cool. Glad you're enjoying it, and Pavu. Yeah, the more, you know, it's, so I will be re-uploading this tonight on the backup channel. But anytime I try to do a live evening show, you guys notice the difference. I'm just like, I get sleepy in the evenings. My brain turns off after like 3 p.m. I'm worthless. In the morning, that's why I do the morning shows. I love the morning. But yeah, I have to do instant coffee right now. It's just easier. And I'm going to be on the road soon, heading back to Arkansas finally. So, you know, I cannot drink hotel coffee. It's disgusting. It tastes like water. It tastes like dirty water. You could literally taste the dirty tap water in the instant or in the hotel coffee. It's like not even coffee anymore. So when I'm on the road or there's nowhere for me to make a proper cup of coffee. When I'm at home, I make a proper cup of coffee. So I'll be going back to that. I don't prefer instant, but yeah. Okay. What else? In case you already know that they had to make an advance because the ability to push it out that many vaccines in a short amount of time had to be pre-made. Okay. Yeah, I'm in California still with my mom and my family. I'm at my mom's house. Now, people have asked me, can you feel the earthquakes? No, I don't feel them. Most of them are happening in the Bay Area, which we're kind of in the Bay Area, but I have not felt any earthquakes. But I grew up in California, so, you know. Oh, I had some grits the other day. My mom makes great grits. Grits are good. Love a big bowl of grits with some eggs in it. She makes it great with some butter, eggs. Oh, yeah. Mix it all up. Chop it up. Mix it up. Someone said, kiss my grits. Do you see a lot of homeless? Not nearly as many as 5 years ago. Last time I was here. Last time I was here, you would drive down like West Lane and you'd look down the levees because Stockton's in the Delta. So you're driving over levees and they're pretty big levees, you know, like 20-foot tall levees. And this is how they pretty much just dried out Stockton. Stockton used to be like a swamp. And when they built the levees, that contained all the floodwaters so that it could go out to the bay, to the San Francisco Bay. And then they, you know, Stockton became a port city. So big container ships come in all the way from the Pacific Ocean. They go all the way up through Stockton, all the way up to Sacramento, actually, Sacramento River. And that's where you get shipping containers coming all the way up through there. So, why did I tell you that? Oh, because 5 years ago when I drove down like West Lane, you look down the levee and you would see tents on top of the levee going down like a mile. It was insane. And I remember mentioning it to my mom. I was like, Mom, what the heck is happening? I've never seen this many homeless people. So now all of a sudden you drive down those same roads and there's no homeless people at all. Zero. And it's creepy because where did they all go? Where did they all go? So I don't know what's going on. Wow, Sister G put shredded cheddar on her grits. Nice. I like grits with unsalted butter, salt, and pepper. Yes, it's the best. The best. Grits and eggs. I remember the first time my kids had grits and they were little. Took a trip to North Carolina. Here's a little bit about my personal life. Back in, I want to say like 2004, maybe. And did a month-long trip to North Carolina because I was thinking about transferring to a sales territory in North Carolina with my pharmaceutical company that I was with at the time. And so took the wife and the kids and mother-in-law, and we took a month-long trip. We rented cars and stayed in hotels to check it out. So we did a whole like circuit. We went all around the whole state of North Carolina. And I remember seeing the kudzu. Now, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but those of you that live in North Carolina, you know what I'm talking about. The kudzu is this vine that grows out of control. Now, the kudzu is not native to North Carolina, but it has taken over much of the South. It grows wild and it covers everything. And it makes it look like one of those, animal bushes. Like you could literally see the outline of whatever's underneath the kudzu, but it's all covered in this green stuff. Anyway, I'm telling you this story to get to another story, which is the first time my kids ever had grits. We were in the South. No, they didn't grow up on grits. I grew up on grits, but my kids didn't. So we're in the South and we go into a restaurant and they're like, would you like hash browns or grits? And I was like, you guys have grits? We were in Charlotte. You guys have grits? They're like, yeah, this is the South, honey. We got grits. And so the kids had grits, and the look on their face, it's like the first time you give an infant a French fry. We've all done it. Don't deny it. We've all given our infants a McDonald's French fry just to get a reaction. Or the first time you give them a popsicle and their face lights up like they just went into another dimension or something, right? And they loved the grits. Like literally, when we got back home, we had to buy grits for them for a while because they loved the taste of grits. At first, they didn't know what to think of it. They're like kind of chewing it in their mouth. And of course, the grits in the South are way better than the grits you buy in the store and cook on their stove, right? So anyway, that's a little side story. Yeah, grits in the South. There are some cool things about the different parts of America. I spent some time in the Southwest, in New Mexico. I got to try green chili for the first time. That was amazing. The green chili is just like, that's a whole nother dimension of food if you like spicy food. And I'll tell you a story. So New Mexico has green chili. The South has grits. Every part of the country has different things that are kind of indigenous to it, right? Things that you only know if you live in these places. So anyway, my first experience with green chili. You ready for this? Now, some of you that live in New Mexico will know this story. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, Lee's from Albuquerque. So check this out. You know where the Sportsman is? It's a restaurant. It's called the Sportsman. Lee will know. Anyway, so I was traveling in New Mexico, and I was when we went into this restaurant called the Sportsman. It's supposed to be like the best ever breakfast with green chili. They make their own green chili, and everything in New Mexico, you can opt to put an over medium egg on top. So everything has over medium eggs on top, and then you put green chili on top of that. So I was like, whoa, an over medium egg on top of an enchilada, for instance, or a burrito or a wet burrito. Like, you would never think to combine those two, but that's what they do there. And I was like, I want to try that. Now, I like hot food. So we go into the restaurant, and I think I ordered an enchilada with 2 over medium eggs on top, topped with green chili. And they're like, what spiciness factor do you want? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I was like, oh, just give me the 5. That's the hottest one. And they're like, well, actually, we don't sell the number 5. It's number 4 and number 5 are reserved for family only. And I was like, well, what do you mean? They're like, no, this is a true story, you guys. They said that the 4 and 5 is so hot that it literally puts them into a state of consciousness or something. And they use it almost like you would take a hit of acid or something. And they lay under the stars. This is what they told me back then. Now, of course, I was fast asleep back then. I didn't know any of this. Like, I would never do that. But back then, they're telling me the story. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, yeah, we like basically go on a trip. It's so hot. I was like, that's crazy. Now, I don't know if that story's true, but that's what they told me. So I said, okay, if I can't have a 4 or 5, give me a 3. And they're like, are you sure you want a 3? I said, I'm absolutely sure. I can hang. So anyway, long story short, he brings out the 3. It's on top of my fried eggs and on top of my enchilada. And the people I was with were looking at me. They're like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah. So I take the first bite and I think I'm okay. I take the second bite and I literally, my stomach turned and I wanted to vomit. And then I just started sweating. You can't even describe the feeling. Like, literally, I couldn't even feel my face. I couldn't feel my face and I wanted to vomit. Like, I got nauseous. I never get nauseous from hot food, but that's what happened to me. All of a sudden, here come the cups of milk. They're bringing out cups of milk for me, and I can't even sit in my chair. And they're laughing at me. Everyone's laughing at me. You said you wanted the number 3. So I start chugging so much milk. I'm just chugging milk. They're bringing out glasses of milk, and they're laughing, and I'm crying, and I'm kind of laughing too because I'm like, wow, I think I'm in over my head here. So that was my story about my green chili experience at the Sportsman Cafe, I think it's called. It's just a random restaurant, literally on a corner next to or behind a gas station that nobody knows about unless you live there. So, should add some grits, says Jerry. That's a good one. Yeah, the effects of that green chili, I couldn't even drive. Like, I was driving and the people I was with had to drive for me. That's how bad it was. It was bad. So, anyway. Did I bring the milk? Yeah, they brought me some milk, but I was just drinking so much milk. I couldn't even deal with it. And it just wouldn't go away. Okay. All right, you guys, I guess we've been on here long enough. I love each and every one of you. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to, Meatball says, what's planned for tomorrow? Tomorrow is the Welcome to Dairy and the biblical overlays. It's the season finale of Welcome to Dairy. And so essentially it's Pennywise in his wagon, which becomes the Ark of the Covenant, a dark side version of it, of course. And all the children behind him are like levitating off the ground. So that's the 12 tribes of Israel following the Ark of the Covenant. So we're going to break all that down tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's show won't be for everybody, but it's an important show for the warriors out there that want to show people the truth about what they're watching on TV. Because Welcome to Dairy is a very popular TV show, but it's very creepy as well. So for the faint of heart, you're going to want to skip tomorrow's show. Now, for me, I just know all this stuff is just Hollywood. It's just TV and special effects. So I learned how to separate those images from reality, right? But a lot of people can't do that. They internalize this stuff and it gives them a physical and spiritual reaction. So I think God kind of like designed me to be hardened to this so that I could break it down. Because I used to get spooked easily when I was young, but not anymore. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Take care.